What's up, metalheads? My name's Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you enjoy this video, hit that like button for me. Alright guys, today we're going to take a look at the QSP Rhino. Give you guys an up-close look at it here real quick. Let's zoom you in. There we go. Good looking knife by QSP. This knife, I gotta say, does remind me a lot of the EMP EDC relative, especially that blade shape. I know EMP EDC has a lot of their knives made by QSP, but I'm pretty sure the relative is actually being made by Bitster. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but just thought I'd throw it out there. Give you the specs on it real quick. Overall length is 7.5 inches. Blade length's 3 1/4 inches. Blade thickness is 138 thousandths. The weight's 4.5 ounces. It is a titanium frame lock with M390 blade steel. Comes with a Mocha-type pocket clip and back spacer. With I'm not sure what you'd call this milling pattern they've done here, almost like a rope pattern. Good looking knife in my opinion. I think it looks great. Feels really good in hand. But this one is, well, let's talk about the price. Well, let's do some size comparisons, then we'll talk about the price and my thoughts on that. And there's a couple things that stand out to me about this knife. Alright, here is the God of Mischief. About the same size as God of Mischief. A little bit shorter, and it is a little thinner. The handle's a little thinner. Here's the Urban EDC F5.5. Here's the Spyderco Para 3. Here's the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. Kind of right in the middle of the Yojimbo 2 and Para 3 as far as size goes. Here's the AD 20.5, the clip point variant. Almost identical in length to that. Maybe a little bit shorter than that, but not by very much. Here's the Paramilitary 2. Man, I'm a little too zoomed in there, huh? For the bigger knives. What else we got here? How about another QSP made knife, the Devo Stout. Almost identical in size to that. And another QSP, the Penguin. So, there, it should give you guys a good idea on the size there. I like this knife, but it has some issues. Number one thing I want to point out is QSP claims this is not a front flipper, right? It was not intended to be a front flipper, but I think there's no stop pin. It's riding on internal stop pins, and it is on cage ceramic ball bearings, by the way, with ceramic ball detent lock bar, steel lock bar insert. They claim this isn't a front flipper, but it can be front flipped. It's hard for me to do it under the camera. I can do it when I'm not under the camera. But it would be a great front flipper if it had jimping, right? If it had proper jimping, it would front flip fantastically. Like I said, well, I was sitting here doing this on my couch a minute ago over and over again just to prove I could do it. Now under the camera, I can't do it. But what I think happened here, this is just a theory, clearly just a theory, right, is this was intended to be a front flipper, and, you know, you got a nice fuller there to flick it out. But because they did this fancy like rope pattern milling on the back spacer and the spine of the blade for aesthetics, it's complete. It has zero traction on this, right? It's really slick. So it gives you no traction at all. Same goes for the jimping on the flipper tab. No traction whatsoever. Although the flipper tab works just fine. You can get enough leverage where you don't really need the jimping. And like there, see, you can front flip it if you hit it just right. You got to get it just in the right spot. But if it had decent jimping there, this thing would be a front flipping dream, right? So I think it was originally intended to be a front flipper, and then they realized after they did this with this pattern, oh wow, that's not going to work well. Let's say it's not a front flipper, even though it clearly is a front flipper. So other than that, the action is pretty good on this knife. It really is pretty good. The reverse flick's really good. The flipper tab's really good. Thumb flick isn't that great. I mean, you can do it, but because of the way the flipper is, or the choil is, it's not the best. It's not the sharpest right here, right? It's kind of a U-shaped in there. It doesn't have a sharp edge on the fuller. But for the reverse flick, it works fantastic. And this is a nice knife. It really is. Probably the nicest knife, QSP branded knife I've held. But here's the issue. This thing is, the MSRP they say is like $485, but these are $358 on White Mountain knives. So if you do a 10% discount, that'll get you down to $320, somewhere in that range. At that price point, you need to be in that, you need to be in that React feel, you know what I mean? You need to have that React fit and finish, and that action, that filling you get, that glassy, smooth filling from a React knife, and the smooth, everything's just done so well. This knife isn't there, right? It doesn't have that kind of action. It's got good action, but it's not React quality action. And at this price point, it should be React quality action. And unfortunately, this one doesn't have that. I know the price went up because they used a Mokatai backspacer and pocket clip. I think that's probably a mistake for them, because these knives are not selling out. They're not selling well at all because of the price, I'm sure. If the price was in that 200 range, you'd probably do well with this knife. But when you over 300, there's so many options out there that have better fit and finish and better action than this knife. And the relative is priced right in the same range as this knife, which should be coming out pretty soon in the pre-orders. I didn't get one of those. I'm not the biggest fan of this clip point blade shape. It's also 4.5 ounces, just not for me. Although the ergos are surprisingly good. I do wish I had, this knife would be a winner. It really would be a winner. Just do a regular backspacer, titanium backspacer, and pocket clip. Get rid of the this ridiculous, whatever you call it, and actually put some jimping out here, and jimping for the front flipper. And this knife would be a home run in that 200 to 250 price range, done properly like that. But as it is, there's so many better options out there for $350 or $320 with a discount. So it's a nice knife. I do like it. I just think they're going to continue to have a hard time selling them at what they're asking for them. I can appreciate what they did here, trying to step up their game and try to compete with some of the more premium brands out there, but they got a little work to do to get there, in my opinion. Although they're on the right track. They are on the right track. But, this is another one of those cases of aesthetics over function, right? They went for aesthetics more than they went for function. And you got to put function first, right? Function has to be first. Or, nobody cares about the aesthetics if it doesn't function the way you think it should function, especially at this price. So, all right, guys, if any of you guys got this, comment below. What do you think about it? Can you front flip yours? I promise you, it can be done, as you see. It's just not very comfortable, and it's difficult. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.